The financial space is expansive and interconnected, which puts professionals and leaders capable of building bridges between firms, if not entire markets, at a premium. When it comes to managing investments, assets, and private capital, learning to strike the balance between traditional institutional training and the cutting-edge technology and processes driving modern markets is critical. Henry Chen, a seasoned finance professional and fintech entrepreneur, has spent the last 15 years honing that precise intersection of skills. Based in Hong Kong, Henry has established himself as a veteran financial professional through multiple successful fintech and financial sector leadership roles. In his range of leadership roles, including but not limited to executive director at Goldman Sachs, county founding partner and managing director for Summer Capital's fintech and blockchain fund, and most recently head of capital markets and head of RWA business development at KU Holdings Group, he's helped build regulated, scalable bridges between established capital markets and emerging ecosystems. In his roles spanning investment banking, venture investing, and digital assets, he's developed deep familiarity with regulatory engagement, institutional product design, and cross-border market development. The ability to speak both languages is crucial. You need to understand how bankers, regulators, and institutional investors think, and at the same time appreciate how developers, founders, and crypto-native communities operate, Henry says. For me, the most important qualities are intellectual honesty, a willingness to strive for success, and the courage to say no when something feels misaligned with long-term integrity, even if it is commercially tempting. Henry Chen's journey in global finance and fintech has been long, but transformative and educational. He started his career in investment banking spaces, where he helped Chinese and Southeast Asian corporations go public in international markets. He moved from associate director to executive director in his tenure at Goldman Sachs, where he led equity capital transactions for financial institutions, fintechs, and high-growth technology companies across Greater China, Southeast Asia, and global markets. One of the highlights of his work in this time was raising over $50 billion USD through hundreds of deals for issuers across a number of sectors, including landmark deals for PIC Group, China Cinda Asset Management, Sina Weibo, Pinduoduo, Sea Limited, and more. Each market has its own regulatory tempo, infrastructure gaps, and cultural relationship with risk and money, Henry explains. Working across places like Hong Kong, ASEAN, and other regional hubs has taught me to think in terms of long-term partnerships with regulators and incumbents, rather than quick wins, and to measure success not just by growth, but by how resilient and trusted a platform remains through different market cycles. These new, emerging markets needed effective, professional leadership, but their potential couldn't be denied. After Henry Chen's experience exposed him to the potential in fintech, he would take the opportunity to pursue new horizons by joining Summer Capital, a multi-strategy private equity fund. As founding lead shareholder, he devoted 4 years to working with Amina Bank, formerly SIBA Bank, the first licensed Swiss crypto bank, working with them to build global business and franchise in Hong Kong and Singapore markets, among others. Henry worked with founders and policymakers to shape product design, governance and risk frameworks, and capital deployments. He systematically brought banks, asset managers, internet platforms, exchanges, foundations, and more together with partnerships structured around tokenization, compliant digital asset products, and on-chain market infrastructure. Henry's work bridging fintech and traditional finance wouldn't end there. After an extended period as both head of capital markets and head of RWA business development at KU Holdings Group, a global leading intelligence finance group, where he oversaw strategic investment management and business development, he'd take the next step of business leadership, entrepreneurship. Henry works at the intersection of traditional finance and Web3, supporting fintech companies and blockchain foundations on ecosystem strategy and cross-border business development. He focuses on expanding real-world use cases, especially at the enterprise level, but his support has helped many startups pass major business milestones, driving growth and innovation in the entire emerging market. In early days of the crypto ecosystem, when traditional finance participants and crypto natives felt living in two different worlds, I was diligently opening doors and connecting dots for crypto players while bridging knowledge gaps for the other side, to legitimately look at the digital asset and blockchain industry, without prejudice, Henry explains. Personally, I am most interested in projects that can plug into existing financial rails or consumer applications to deliver a step change in efficiency, fairness and transparency, while staying comfortably within reasonable regulatory and compliance framework. The worlds of traditional finance and modern, cutting-edge fintech remain separated, but the gap between them closes with every passing year as leading figures and entrepreneurs like Henry work to enable understanding, mutually beneficial support, and further innovation. However, building bridges between the two requires experience in both worlds and the trust of their respective members, because nobody is going to put their trust and their resources behind a leader that doesn't know what they're talking about. As he's embraced the leadership role that his bridge building work requires, Henry has had many opportunities to identify what effective leadership means in this innovative new space. One thing I have learned is that you are constantly making decisions with incomplete information in a fast-evolving environment, so your objectives have to be very clear, he says. There have been moments where walking away from a deal or slowing down a launch felt painful in the short term, but in hindsight protected the business sustainability, the brand, and all stakeholders. I have also seen how important it is to communicate honestly with investors and partners when conditions change. People can handle bad news, but they lose trust very quickly if they feel they are being managed or kept in the dark. As someone who is directly supporting and building businesses and new ventures in this cutting-edge fintech space, Henry Chen has to balance the exciting new opportunities for innovation with the baseline standards and values that he holds dear. Honesty and integrity are mandatory, but no venture will succeed without a strong collaborative instinct and a willingness for leaders and lone professionals alike to take ownership and responsibility of their work, their operations, and their businesses. For me, the non-negotiables are integrity and value drive, says Henry. I want to work with people who keep high integrity, stay positive, and are willing to invest in long-term success over short-term profit. It is obvious in both fintech and the broader world that those who have a proven track record of integrity, success, and durability are more likely to remain successful in the future. Culturally, I am drawn to teams who think big and are ambitious, while also pragmatic and logic-driven.